Hi, my name is Cindy. You've probably seen my work at creatingthelight.com. Today I'm doing a slightly different kind of post. I want to talk about a book that was graciously provided to me by Smith Publicity. So huge thanks to you guys for that. This book is A Serial Killer's Daughter, My Story of Faith, Love, and Overcoming by Kerri Rawson. I first want to say I love this book. Kerri is probably one of the bravest women I have read about in a long time. This book starts off with Kerri going into some family memories. She shares vacations and holidays, and of course, some background on her dad, as I'm sure we're all curious about the life of, some of these people, behind doors. What were they really like? So Kerri gives a lot of great detail on family life. So she sets the stage for, leading up to her mid-20s. And that's when, the bomb dropped on her. And, and she talks about the devastation in her life when she finds out that her dad is really not the man she thought he was. So she goes over some pretty explicit details about sitting in her apartment, and she gets a knock on the door, and there is an FBI agent standing on her doorstep. Eventually, this FBI agent, without much sugarcoating, simply tells her, "Your dad is BTK," which, of course, I'm sure would floor just about anybody, including her. Also, Kerri details having anxiety and depression even as a child before those were even things. Nobody could really tell her what she was going through or how to help her, back then as a child. And I'd like to read a little bit from her story. So this is part of the book. She pretty much just found out that her dad was a serial killer. And from the book, it says, "I halted in the hallway and scrunched down like I was hiding. The world was buzzing white hot again. My body felt like it was separating from my mind. My mind felt like it was separating from my body. Father God, I am not going to survive this. Seized again with fear, I pressed up against a linen closet in the hallway, huddled up in a little ball, shaking. I wrapped my arms around my knees, trying to make myself as small as possible. FBI questions, asking for my DNA, internet blowing up, cable news blasting out confusion. Now cameras in our hallway, our locked hallway. Shame washed over me like I'd done something wrong. Our intercom buzzed. More reporters outside asking for BTK's daughter. Guilty as charged. I'm BTK's daughter. No longer Kerri. She's gone." Pretty powerful stuff. I don't know if anybody can truly imagine what it's like to have their life upended so thoroughly. She talks about the media circus and all of, the attention and people harassing their family and not being able to travel and having her picture and her father's picture plastered everywhere. Some pretty crazy stuff. At some point, I think as anybody would, Kerri starts to question God and question her faith. And she says, "God, where are you? Why did you let this happen?" If you have not heard of BTK serial killer, he did take the lives of 10 people, including 2 children. Thankfully, Kerri doesn't go into a lot of gory detail. That's not where her story is coming from. So she doesn't talk too much about the acts of violence themselves, but rather the repercussions emotionally and how it relates between her and her father. And along those lines, she also struggles with trying to reconcile who her father is, the man that she knows and still loves, with this monster that has crept out of the closet that nobody knew was there. So this is a great view into the life of somebody who's been through something traumatic and has difficulty dealing with depression and anxiety, and her ability to overcome all of it. She does talk about, going to therapy and getting help. And eventually, in the end, she does find her way back to God with the help of her husband and the church that they've gotten involved with. And it's a beautiful story about how somebody who's been through something unimaginable can eventually find their way through it and around it and over it and come out better for it. I definitely recommend this book. It was a great read. And Kerri, kudos to you. I couldn't imagine having the strength that you found to get through this. So I highly recommend the book, everybody. Thanks. God bless.